Hello, everyone. Welcome to the page. My name is Sunny. Um, I'm here making one of my videos dealing with ulcerative colitis, sometimes in similarly Crohn's, but specifically colitis, ulcerative colitis. I've been making videos for the last year and a half, kind of a journey of how I got from where my numbers were extremely bad, I was in emergency, to today, my numbers are much, much better. I've improved a lot, and some changes have happened. So right now it is July 2nd, I believe, 2025. I've started trying to put dates on these videos so people can keep track of it. I know there's some dates at the bottom of the thing, but I think maybe if I do it this way, it's easier. So in the last 8 videos, I actually say the date. So I started out with having ulcerative colitis about 15 years ago. The colitis was just diarrhea and stuff, and then it started turning into bleeding from the back end. Doctors try to give me all these anti-diarrhea medications, didn't help. They wouldn't treat it because they said it's not severe enough. So it got bad enough where there was enough blood where they did the examination. They said, oh, you have inflammation in your colon. It's also colitis. And they tried to give me some anti-inflammatories. I didn't. I took the ones they gave me, but I was having all kinds of reactions. It became bad news. So I went to a natural a doctor who was a Western medicine doctor. He quit the business of Western medicine because he got tired of the system and how it was done. He says that it's pretty much partly corruption, partly a money business. It's a lot of stuff they teach you is not correct, according to him. So he helped me go on a very particular diet, which sometimes I wonder why he did that, but he must know what he was doing. He put me on a pure rice diet for a month or two. Then he started adding chicken to it for a couple of months, and then he started doing cooked vegetables, then beef, and then fruits. So he went through that process. Now that actually helped me. That sticking to one thing that rice doesn't I've eaten all my life. I seem to tolerate very well. Don't have a problem with it. And I got to the point where I was about 95% better. More good days than bad. Went back to my life. What had happened was I'd lost, during that time when I was sick, I went from 200 almost 30 pounds, weightlifter guy, pretty good shape, to 180 pounds. So from 230 to 180 pounds in like 6-8 months because of the diarrhea and the bleeding and all that. And it took me about another year of eating that way to get myself back to where my weight came back to 220. Put on muscle mass. Got a little chubbier because I wasn't careful as much. I didn't train as much, but I got back to where I needed to be. And I was good for about 10 years. Not great. I was 95%, like I said. If something didn't settle with me, I'd have a rough day that day, but then I'll be back to normal the next day. 2 years ago, I ended up in emergency for 4 days where the doctors thought everything in my entire system was inflamed and they thought I might even die. That was a kind of an interesting one. And so it turned out my pancreas, my liver, my entire digestive system, everything was inflamed. There were some other things he mentioned was also inflamed, which I'm blanking out on, but I had a lot of inflammation inside. Didn't know what was going on. The only thing I noticed was the last year before this happened, I was having a lot of bloating and gas and just not happy every time I ate. Didn't know what it was, but I just thought, oh man, I must be having a flare-up. But usually not flare-ups, usually I never really had anything more than a day or 2 or 3 and I was back to normal. Went through the system, got myself through their treatment. Again, from anti-inflammatories to biologics that were supposed to be used. I had reactions to almost everything they gave me. At one point, I almost lost my eyesight on a pill that they said had nothing to do with my eyes until I lost vision and I started turning red and I became super sensitive to light. As soon as I stopped, 3 days later, the inflammation goes away. It starts going back to normal. And that's after seeing eye doctors and specialists and all that. So it was quite a challenge there. After maybe a year of dealing with these people, I gave up again on them. By this point, I had already gotten my education level high enough where I'd gotten a master's in nutrition. So I've studied a lot about that. And though the education system is kind of flawed because what they teach you in nutrition is 50% correct, 50% not. And the 50% that's correct, 30% of that is educational guess. They don't know 100%. They just educationally guess it. And I found out that through those years that, especially through the master's program, that a lot of research is tainted. They're paid for it. It's done on animals. They're favoring one thing over another because they're getting paid by it. All kinds of problems. But I had to sift through it and do deep dive into the key experiments, the ones that I thought were more the backing. I would check to see who's funding it. I would check to see if, when you read the research, if it was double-blinded, if from the beginning you usually can tell they're automatically favoring something. There's things you can look for in those research that tells you a little bit about what it is. If it's anything coming from the state or government, that I'd be very careful of because they're paid by the sugar company, all these other industries. Totally different subject. We'll get into that some other day. I've talked about it before. So all I can tell you is that so far, my calprotectin 2 years ago was about 3,000 plus. So for those who are familiar with it, calprotectin tells them what kind of inflammation is in your colon. And some of the cities couldn't even test me because their numbers don't go high enough. So that tells you how severe it was. And through nutritional changes, diets, program, trying different methods and testing things, and doing research upon research upon research, and then looking up, and then reading books that had to do with also colitis and nutrition, looking at researchers that the ones that I thought were practical, and it was, again, not funded by anybody in particular. And also I ended up looking at other people who had the same condition to see how they fixed themselves. And through that, I was able to find YouTubers who talked about certain doctors they went to that are YouTube doctors, like Ken Berry, gosh, what's wrong with me? I'm blanking on all the doctors. Ken Berry, and pretty much the doctors who talk about keto and carnivore. And using the carnivore first and then the keto combined, but starting with the carnivore, I was able to get myself 90% better. Again. So my diet consists of 90% carnivore, about 5 to 7% fruits and some vegetables, not very much. Cooked vegetables, nothing raw. And then maybe 2-3% when I have once a month, I have a junk food day and I end up enjoying whatever I want. Outside that, I don't eat anything else. That's my diet. But not limited, not controlled or how much. I eat till I'm stuffed, and I eat tons of fat. The fat that most people say don't eat, I eat, like saturated fat. And I make sure that it goes almost against every doctor I go see tells me don't do it, it's the wrong way, it's dangerous, this and that. But while they try to push me into going back to carbs and seed oils and all that garbage, then they start trying to sell me, well, you need some vaccines. Oh, well, you should be on this medication. Oh, you need this. So it's been a interesting journey of learning and finding out what works, what doesn't, looking at people who've cured themselves, uh, looking at actual people who fix themselves, not just some researcher said that, oh, point whatever percent of this, lowered this, and but, oh, how did you test them? Oh, they just reported what they ate. That kind of tells you nothing. Because if they're just reporting themselves, you don't know if they're eating it the right way, they're cheating, if they're doing other things, if they're taking medications, all kinds of stuff. So I made this video short and quick. I'm going to come to an end here. From my last video, which I did the time before, excuse me, my cal protected numbers were 39, I believe, which was shocking because I went from 650 to 39. But I was very strict on my diet. So maybe that's what it is. And maybe it's because it's been a year and a half I've been doing carnivore and keto. So maybe it's taken time to get better. Because remember, none of this is like medication. Medication in an emergency, it's great. It'll work. It gets you to where you need to be. But it comes with a host of health problems. The way I did it to heal myself was natural. So if you're going to do things naturally, it's not overnight. It's not a week. It's not 2 weeks. It'll take month after month after month to get yourself to a point where you see significant changes. Excuse me. And that doesn't mean you go back to it and you go back to old diet. You have to learn how to eat, stick to it, and go from there. Just so that I can tell you my best opinion of how to eat is the proper human diet. Now, I got this not from me. This is from Ken Berry, who talks about it and how humans through their entire lives just ate hunting. And sometimes during the summer, they would get a fruit here, fruit there, ate real fat from animals and stuff. And that was their diet. And in today's time, it's shifted, and that's been going like this for 10, 15,000 years, where corn and wheat and this and that has become a source of food for people because, one, it's cheap, two, it fills people up, three, with our population, if they ate like that, like we do now, I'm not sure if there's going to be much animals left. So there is a problem there when we look at it. So if you want to heal yourself, just so I can repeat it in every video, you got to go through a carnivore diet phase and then go into a keto diet phase. And if you want to learn about it, look at my previous videos. There's plenty out there that talks about it. And that's it. Here, I'm going to say that I got my test done today. It was an interesting visit. This doctors, oh my God. I couldn't get them to do some tests. They just kept saying, well, I don't think this, you don't really need this, just refusing to do it. I asked them about doing a liver test because 2 years ago, they told me I have early stages of cirrhosis in the liver. One thing about liver is that it's an incredible healing mechanism. So I think I've naturally tried to heal it. I'm not sure how good I've done to heal it, but my ALT at that point was 119 or 20. And now I'm circling around 39, 40, which is well above normal, below normal, sorry. But according to this doctor, that doesn't really mean anything. So when it was 120, it meant something. It was important. When it's 39 and I get the number down, it's not worth looking at because doesn't really mean anything because you have cirrhosis, your liver's shot. Okay, we'll leave that one part alone. Then he tried to get me to get hepatitis shot, tetanus shot, some kind of pneumonia shot for what? I have no idea because I've had pneumonia before. I've had all kinds of colds and flus. Not once has that ever been a problem, but now suddenly it's a problem. And I forgot what the other one was. He came up with 4 different shots he wanted me to do. And then, of course, he gave the speech about how COVID scared people and people are scared, but you don't need to be scared, this and that. And with my recommendations, you do all this. Oh, and hepatitis A, I think, was one of the other ones, and hepatitis B. So he was on a roll. And he was the same doctor a year ago. He started with this stuff too. And so after dealing with his trying to sell me the vaccines, and again, I'm not one of those anti-vax people. I think there's a couple of vaccines that are very important you get, and that's when you're young and you get them done, like tetanus and this and that. You do when you're young. Usually you get them when you come as a foreigner as well, which I got when I came here as a little kid. Those have been around for a long time, tested. It's been generally safe. But in today's time, if you go into the CDC or some of these organizations, they've got 50, 60 shots they want you to do. For this, for that, for this, for that. It's constant shots, which I don't trust and I will never do. So I got my calprotectin. I have to wait 3 days. The numbers don't show up. The last time I tested, I went from 39, unfortunately, to 300, which was 320 or 330. I was a little upset because I either 39 was a false negative, or I got it and it went back up because I screwed up, because I started trying to put some other stuff in my diet, like bread, wheat bread. I started eating a little bit more grains and pasta. Not a lot, very little, but I was adding stuff to it. I was eating nuts. I ate like desserts a couple of times that I shouldn't have. And more frequent, like now I eat all that stuff once a month, twice a month, the most. But I was eating it like once or twice a week. I was trying to sneak in stuff. I even try to do goat cheese, because goat cheese is supposed to be more tolerable for people with my condition. I'm also lactose intolerant, so that tells you something about the condition. And I'm very lactose. Your ulcerative colitis is very sensitive to lactose and the protein in milk. So if you have it, I strongly recommend you get off any dairy items. Doesn't matter what it is, because it's not just milk. It's cheese. It's got sour cream. You've got, especially if you go to places, restaurants, so they always add these things. You buy a potato, there's baked potato, they've got it in there. If you put mashed potato, they got it in there. There's restaurant foods that they always have some kind of dairy mixed in. You have to watch out for that. So if you're sensitive to these things, if you also colitis, you more than likely are, I'd recommend you be very careful with those and get off of them. So I had to get them to do a blood test, cholesterol, because I eat heavy amounts of oil now with meat. And my oil is all natural fats, including butter and ghee. I do eat avocado and what's the other one? Avocado and extra virgin olive oil once in a while as well. But I stick to the other fats more often. I have beef tallow I eat. I use ghee. Like if I make bacon, I use the oil to cook my eggs in, and then the extra oil, because that oil just is very stable. When I take everything out, there's a bunch of oil that's left. I take that, put it in my pan for steaks, and I use the same oil to cook the steak. So a little flavor, but reliable oil, and it gets used up the right way. Nothing gets wasted. So they took some blood from me today. They got some tests, which he refused to do at first. I pushed him to do it. It kept refusing. And then when I got it done, he said, well, just do the calprotectin and do all the other ones later in a couple of months, because you did it a month and 2 weeks ago. And I kept telling him, look, I have all these conditions. I have to keep track of it. So as I change my diet or try something, I need to test these things to make sure everything's going the right direction. Yeah, but these you don't need right now. It's like as if they don't want you to know if you're getting better, so that you do stuff that messes up your numbers, and then you're like, oh, how did this happen? And if you get confused because you don't know what caused it, then they can put you on medication, because boy, did they try to put me on medication for my ulcerative colitis. So this is where we're at. We got some stuff fixed. I'll get some results to you in about 3, 4, and 5 days once I get them. My last test, again, was 330 in a calprotectin. My blood count started getting better. I do take gentle iron because for some reason I'm having a hard time absorbing the iron from the steak, even though I eat a lot of meat. It could be the ulcerative colitis because my stomach is sensitive, or something else that my body doesn't absorb it well. I do eat a little bit of fruit every day, not very much, and I try not to eat the fibrous parts and minimize the fibers. Like if I eat an apple, I eat the inside, maybe a little bit of apple, half an apple, but no skin. I eat blueberries, blackberries, things like that. I eat melon. I do really well with melon. Watermelon makes me run to the bathroom. Interesting, but it does. Mango, maybe here and there, I'll eat mango. And then vegetables, I'll eat like onions here and there. I'll eat carrots, but I cook it. I don't eat it raw. Onions, I eat raw. On a rare occasion, I'll have cilantro or maybe spinach, but very small amounts, and it's cooked well, so it's super fibrous. The fibers are broken down. What else do I have? Maybe a little bit of cauliflower here and there. Again, cooked very well, so it's nice and broken down. And again, like I said, once a month I go out and enjoy my junk food. Again, avoiding the seed oils and some of the other garbage. But if I want a cheesecake and I'm craving it, I'll cheat and do that. Or if I'm missing cookies, I'll make a cookie thing. I'll grab some cookies. Things I shouldn't have. But once a month, you got to satisfy yourself because I got problems with food, so I'm a foodie. I got rid of all sugars out of my diet except for fruit. And I have, what's it called? I use raw honey once in a while. And I use the tree one, maple syrup, on a tea once in a while. When I crave tea, I'll have it. So at least you get some kind of something out of it, even though it's still sugar. It's a way better source of type of sugar than table sugar. So there are, not that you should be having a ton of maple syrup and honey, but a little bit here and there with your something you want is a very good way of doing it because at least you get something out of it and you're not taking a bunch of it. So you'll have like a spoonful or two of maple syrup and mix it to whatever. It's not bad at all. Once I get the numbers, I'll let you know what the numbers are. I don't even know what blood test. I kind of cheated. He said not to do it. I went into the lab and I said, oh, my doctor ordered labs. And they put everything in the lab. I stayed quiet and pretended I don't know anything about it. So I actually got some stuff done. Some I don't think he put in, but I'll see once I get the results. But man, these doctors just blow me away. I actually have a gentleman who's a doctor who does functional medicine. Again, I'm so sorry, the names, I should write them down. He talks about, he's a functional medicine doctor who talks about how to eat and nutrition and conditions that people have, whatever. Listening to him a lot, I've tried to find myself a functional doctor that goes through Kaiser. Hard to find, but I'm trying. They give me a hard time trying to find one that will take patients, or they barely have any. But I will give you some more information. This is what I've got so far. Like I said, it's beginning of July 2nd, 2025. My last test was about 38 days ago when my calprotectin jumped up from 39 to 330. I cannot guarantee that it was the number because the number before that was in the 700. So maybe it was going down, that was a false read, or it did went down and I brought it back up a little bit. So I will give you some info. I did get rid of some dairy out of my diet. I try not to eat bread very much. I try to cut out stuff that I was cheating with. I'm still cheating, don't get me wrong, but very little. So I'm trying to be very careful with it. I'm pretty much, like I said, carnivore with a little bit of fruits and a little bit of vegetable. That's my diet. Hopefully everybody's good. If you have any questions or want to reach out, I am a very easygoing guy. I love talking about health with people. Everything I recommend you go out there and research it. Names I give you, doctors, this, that. Don't just listen to me or I know it all, whatever. I'm a nutritionist. I have a master's in it, so I have some better knowledge than the average. But in no way do we get trained enough and learn enough to say that we're right 100%. What they teach you, like I said, half of it is wrong. But it teaches you how to learn, and it helped to learn the wrong to figure out how to find the right. So it has given me a lot of knowledge and direction. But please do your own research. And if you have questions, please feel free to email me. My email is, which the email that I usually use, it's Lazarus Lost, L as in Larry, A as in Apple, Z as in Zebra, A as in Apple, R as in Robert, U as in Under, S as in Sam, and then the word lost, LOST, @gmail.com. I know I'm supposed to put it in the bottom of the videos and stuff, but you're looking at a guy who's a dum-dum when it comes to these things. So I'll see if I can figure out how to put it on here, but I never know how to add stuff to these videos. But you have my information. Reach out. Leave me your number. I'll call you. Email me. I'll email you. We're all here trying to be better and healthy. So working together is the best way. So feel free, reach out. Otherwise, everyone have a great day and take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.